Welcome to a brand new episode of The Murtz Show. Finally, I am going to get Aneal Ramkissoon, Aneal Joshua. I'm not sure if that's like his stage name, but he will be joining me. He's also going to be playing the role of AJ since AJ can't be on the show until the finale. Just kidding, Aneal. As most of you know, when I did my pre-assessment of Big Brother Canada, Aneal was definitely one of my picks. In fact, I actually blame Aneal for myself not getting on the show. I actually mean that in all sincerity. So I can't wait to talk to him about that. Also, I can't wait to talk to him about AJ in general, because I know Aneal is not AJ's biggest fan. I believe I was reading an interview today where Aneal said that AJ doesn't have the capacity to make a bed, make a sandwich, or make a move, which I thought was pretty funny. So I can't wait to talk to him about that. And also, I want to explore a little bit the topic of twists on reality TV. Should they be there? Should they exist? Should we just have purity? Should we have just like games that actually mean something? Because I feel like, what's the point of investing all this time, months and months and months, 3 episodes a week into a show, and just have a twist mess the whole thing up? Doesn't that just make it feel like it's a complete waste? Uh, as a result, let us bring Aneal on and talk about that.
Hey, Murtz.
Aneal, welcome to the Merch Show. Well, you got to go like this so we can take a photo for the website first. Sorry, I did a bad job in the preamble. There we go. There you go. Perfect. Okay, Aneal. So many things to talk to you about. Now, let's start with where you are. Are you in Florida? Are you in Toronto?
I'm right now in Woodbridge, and I go to Toronto. I go to Florida on Thursday.
Oh, wow. Okay. Why didn't you hang out with Liza and I all week? We had a week of like fun times.
Did you? I hung out with Liza the weekend she got evicted. But when I come back for finale, hopefully we'll all hang out.
Perfect. Maybe she'll tell you about her secret project, which is going to blow the world
I
away.
can't wait.
Announcement is coming soon. Okay, so, Aneal, let's just get right into it. I feel like this was your game to lose. I want to know what went wrong, and I feel like I know you've talked about this ad nauseum. I'm sure you're like sick of answering that question, but I have to ask. Like what went wrong, and was it just the twist?
I'm not trying to toot my own horn when I say that it was because of the twist, but I survived week two, which I knew was going to be very hard to do, and I knew that if Tom didn't put me up or backdoor me without the twist, that I was going to be safe at least till week five because people had bigger targets in mind. But the twist happened. He had 3 minutes to pick who his nomination was. I was just on the block. It was just easy for him to do that. So if that twist didn't exist, technically I survived week three and should have seen week four.
I think I told you this when we chatted the day after your eviction, but I remember when we went to the premiere party. I remember this so well. The night that the first episode was airing, I was at this big Shaw party, and I'm telling you, every producer came up to me going, "Oh my God, you will not believe what your boy did. You will not believe what your boy did." And then I watched the episode, and I'm like, "AJ didn't do anything." So I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they were talking about you the whole time and the whole like glitter thing. And I'm like, listen, okay, you got the wrong brown guy. Okay, I know it's an easy mistake to make. Can you tell me a little bit more about the whole glitter thing? Because I thought that was brilliant and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I mean, people thought that it was just me trying to, take a personal jab at Gary, but it was really, really strategic in the sense that the house wanted Gary up. Suzette was reluctant to put him up. So I felt if I made more of a mess with the splitter that everyone was already complaining about, it would give them that extra push to really go up to Suzette and be like, let's nominate him, let's get him out. He's messy. But it didn't work out that way.
Do you feel like your intense knowledge of reality had a negative component to your game in the sense that like I felt like you and even the Shield to a degree. I feel like you guys are almost like playing for the camera. And I don't know if that influenced you at all, or if that's just like how you wanted to play it. But I felt like you realized this was a TV show and you were acting like that.
No, I mean, I think that the Shield definitely does, but I honestly didn't even think the glitter thing would make air. I just thought the fact that there was glitter all over the place would have made air, so it was just adding to it. Yeah, I was really shocked that that made air, and the fake crying was, added in a lot because I was on the block. But I mean, I was not like yelling in my diary rooms or like coming up with weird catchphrases like the Shield does. So I
Right.
wanted to, I wanted to play as Aneal, but I think that the Shield definitely does take it to the next level in sense of playing it up for TV due to their knowledge of reality TV.
You know, I was talking to Liza about this, and Liza and I really disagree. But I don't find the Shield particularly great. Okay, I think that they're very marginal players. I think that they're mediocre. I think probably on a US version of this show, they'd be gone in the first like 3 or 4 weeks. Like it bothers me a lot that everybody claims that, oh, the Shield is running this show. Well, what's to run? It's like a dollhouse. You know, it's not that hard to push Barbie dolls around.
Yeah, I think that definitely the Shield is being amped up as these strategic players, and I get it because there's not a lot of strategic players left in the house. So, their level of strategy, as opposed to if someone like me or Kat would have been in there, or even Liza as well, who were very strategic behind the scenes, whereas the Shield is very in your face about their strategy.
Yeah, yeah.
You would have seen a balance of strategy. I suppose when the Shield are the only people with strategy in the house, they're being edited and amped up as these huge strategic players. But I do agree with you in the sense that um, they're getting more like bang for their buck.
I mean, do you feel like Slice just doesn't like brown people?
I actually tweeted that, but I was completely joking. No, I think that I don't think that they don't like brown people. I think that they really did like me and AJ. I think they love all of the cats, but it was just ironic that two brown guys went out due to a power shift.
I can't stand twists, Anil. As soon as they brought in the tribe flip on Survivor, I said this is bad. This is the death of reality that's starting right now, and I feel like it's just gotten progressively worse. You know, so let's start with your twist, then we'll talk about AJ, and then I have a lot to say about what happened to Topaz. So with yours, I guess the opening question is: do you feel like it was fair for them to do that, to just basically out of nowhere give Canada the power to like save an evictee and basically send you home?
Um, yes, I do think that the concept of the twist was fair. The timing of it, though, I think was not. I would have obviously preferred for them to give Canada the POV, and then we find out that Canada used the POV at the POV ceremony. And then, had I been the nominee, I still would have had 3 days to campaign.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
so I think it was a really cool twist in the sense that, a lot of the times as a viewer, you're like, oh, I wish we could do something to save this person. It would be so awesome. And, Canada did get that opportunity, but I think that they should have given at least, honestly, even 2 hours to just campaign
Ex-
would have been a make or break, I think, for me.
I know you. The reason that I'm bringing up all these like crazy references is because I know you can maybe pick up on them. But they did the same thing on Survivor Fiji. I don't know if you remember, but Michelle had the same thing where like she was switched to another tribe, no time to campaign, and she's out. She went from a majority to a minority, and then bam. So
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's fair. But with that being said, your twist compared to the one that sent AJ home are like in two different complete leagues. I feel like he didn't even. Well, I guess no, maybe they're not because you didn't get a chance to play for the veto either. So I guess they're on the same level, right?
Yeah, I think that the power shift, the whole point of it is that you don't get time to campaign, you don't get to fight for the veto. So essentially, if anyone can relate to the way AJ got evicted, it would be me, and I'm excited to grab a beer with him and discuss it after. But you don't get to campaign, you don't get to fight for a veto. It sucks, but I mean, that's the name of the
Well,
game, right?
but do you feel like you learned a lesson here? Because I guess the next time that I'm preparing for Big Brother Canada season 2, I think the first thing I'm going to do is make sure to have an alliance like in the first week. Traditionally on reality shows, if you make an alliance too early, it gets found out and you're done. And I know everybody wanted to avoid that, but with these stupid power shifts, you need to have 3 or 4 people watching your back if something like this happens, which I don't feel like you had, and I don't feel like AJ had, and I think that's the reason you're both done.
Yeah, I definitely, and that was actually one of my strategies. I really did want to get an alliance together, and then had that power shift not happen, I was in the works of getting, Liza, Jillian, Tala, me, to really, and even Gary to really be this like underdog alliance to
Yeah,
overthrow the guys. So it was in the works, but I definitely agree in the sense that I think this season, especially the showmances, kind of hit people from left field, but
exactly.
yeah, but for season two, for those people that are playing, I would definitely recommend to pick an alliance and stick with it, even if you don't like the people in it, just because it's a numbers game at the end of the day.
This is, and I want to get to Topaz in a second, but you do bring up a very interesting point. Now, here's my theory on the showmance: is I feel like because this is the first season of Big Brother Canada, Robin intentionally put people in there to at least guarantee one showmance, whether it was going to be Andrew and Jillian, Emmett and Jillian, like Topaz and AJ or whatever. But when you do that, like when you cast people specifically to guarantee a showman's, this is the result. So, do you feel like that hurt the show? Like, would you have rather seen 15 people, like one old guy, one like little person, one some person with like a skin disease, where like, okay, I realize that those are extremes, but at least we're not going to get this stupid showman's crap. At least we're going to get to see a game.
Um, yeah, but I think that I don't think they expected to have three showmances. And it's funny, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the people didn't even really want to be in them, like Emmett, Jillian, they didn't want to be in a showman. So I think it just kind of hit them from left field as well. But I do get what you're saying. I think that had there been more people, me and Suzette were the only people in relationships to begin with. So had there been even more people in relationships or married, we could have seen more of a power shift. But I mean, it was interesting to see three showmances really just hit it off right like that.
Yeah, but I think it really hurt the show. I really do because instead of seeing game, you're just seeing these like horrible hookup scenes. Like if I wanted that, I tune into The Bachelor. Like I'm not watching Big Brother for this.
Yeah, no, I can understand the frustration from a viewer standpoint, you know what I mean? But from being in the house, the showmances were added an element to the game because it almost made nominations easier had I stayed in the game. It's so easy just to pop a showmance up.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. I definitely think that's true. Now let's talk a little bit about Topaz. Now, obviously, we know that she was a bit of a rule breaker. We know she liked to sleep in. We know she liked to like ignore the alarm. My question to you is this: she won the HOH, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Is the reason that her game had to be outed is because we both know that she was probably prompted to start strategizing out loud. That's pretty much a given because that scene would have been irrelevant if she just kept her mouth shut and they've got everybody else like watching her HOH and she's not saying anything. That would have been stupid. So I do feel like certainly she was forced to say stuff, but you don't have to comment on that. My question for you is: would that have happened if anybody had won that HOH, or was it a punishment for Topaz for doing all this bad stuff earlier in the week?
No, I think that it would have been if anyone won HOH because if you watch Big Brother
Mm.
UK, there's a lot of Big Brother UK influence in the Big Brother Canada game, and that's actually
Yep.
something that happened to Big Brother UK is that diary room footage leak. But the only thing that sucks about when it happens in the Big Brother Canada house is that the house gets vote, and the Big Brother UK, the UK votes the people out. So
Yep.
it doesn't add drama. It just outs someone's game. So it was interesting to see. Definitely, I was like, my heart was pounding for her.
How do you feel about that? Because I know that that's how, because obviously Big Brother Canada knew they were going to get a lot of criticism from that, and that's actually the point in the line of defense that they've been using. They've been saying, listen, all the Big Brothers in Europe do this. So do you feel like one is better than the other? And if you were a Big Brother producer, would you model your show more after the American version or the UK version?
I actually like to answer your second question first. I actually like what they're doing. That they're taking elements of both and really putting a Canadian twist on it. Because when it leaks in the UK version, it's a composite of the different diary rooms. This is live,
Mhm, mhm.
raw, her strategizing, and that's completely unique. So I like that they're really, really making it unique to Big Brother
But
Canada.
that
Um,
unique, but completely unfair. How is it fair that everybody now knows what her game plan is? I think that's like the most. I just can't understand how people are just swallowing this. It's like completely unfair.
yeah, and I'm sure Topaz feels that way, but I think that this game, I always say it comes with strategy, social, and a dash of luck, and she just didn't have that dash of luck that week.
I don't. Let's just call a spade here. And ironically, a spade is black. Like I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on here. Okay, like Aneal, victim of a twist. AJ, victim of a twist. Topaz, victim of a twist. The stars are not aligning for my man Gary. I gotta say.
Yeah, it's just funny the way that worked out. It's funny to laugh about, but I
It
mean,
is,
I
it is, and I'm being obviously like I'm being a bit extreme. Like I don't genuinely believe that that's what happened. It is just interesting. It's kind of like I don't know if you were watching The Celebrity Apprentice, but it's kind of like that the one team is always in the boardroom.
oh, I just started that today. Don't ruin anything. I just watched the first
Okay,
5 minutes.
okay. Well, yeah, okay. Remember this after you watch a few episodes.
Okay, I will,
Um,
and I'll tweet you about it.
so because I definitely actually do, I really do see a parallel. So I can't wait for your thoughts on it. Um, I feel like this season is lacking something, and I feel like that hole has become much more apparent in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I think that this show was on track to not only be the best Canadian reality show of all time, but certainly one of the better reality shows in general. But then, you're gone. I feel like Liza's gone. I feel like Kat's gone. I feel like a lot, even Suzette. Now, I love Suzette. I know you don't like her, but I thought she was a gamer too. And I feel like when you remove all these elements, now I just feel like it's like a hookup fest. I feel like this show is no longer the show that I remember from February.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that it would have been interesting to see, the Shield's intense strategy, and then what people don't know is me and Liza really had each other's back. So it would have been cool to see the parallel between two completely different strategies. But I
Mhm.
always say this, and I don't know if people are understanding me, but Tala's fun, wild, but Tala really has a great strategy in her head, and she's a lot smarter than she's coming across. I mean, it just speaks in the HOHs herself that she's been second in 3 HOHs. I think that
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I think that she's a great strategist. She's a huge fan of the show. I want to say she's as big of a fan as Peter. She knows a lot about Big Brother. Um, so it's just it comes down to what the house guests want to share, and she's really doing a good job of keeping that under wraps. I wish she would just
In,
let it
in
out a
when
little bit more.
when you talk about her strategy, what do you think it is? Like, if you had to define it, is it just like being this goofball that nobody wants to get rid of?
Yeah, I think it's just being fun, a goofball. She's more of a firecracker in real life, and I think she's actually done a good job. She has had obviously a few blowouts, but she's done a good job compared to Topaz of keeping it under wraps.
Yeah, yeah. I have to ask you about your one quote that I read in an interview today, where you said AJ is incapable of making a sandwich, making a bed, or making a move. So what was the issue here? Because the one thing that really bothers me about this season is like I'm in the business of reality prediction, okay, and I was absolutely positive you two would be in alliance on day one. Like I don't think I've ever been more wrong about a prediction in my life. So what was the issue there? Because I know I keep bringing this up with you because it genuinely bothers me. I feel like the two of you could have run the show.
Well, it's funny that you do talk about that because week one we came up with a fun little name called the Late Night Boys, because we were the last ones up, and we actually did have each other's back in the sense of we were going to try to watch out for each other in the game, that no one would know about. So you were right. We did talk a lot of game late at night, and we were the Late Night Boys. So it just didn't surface because there wasn't a need for us to really do a big move. But it was just frustrating for me um, to
Hmm.
watch AJ because I like AJ. He's the type of person I can see myself hanging out with outside of the house, just not in the house because he was doing a
Hmm.
good job of just floating by and not doing
Yeah.
anything. And as a gamer, it was frustrating for me because I really love people that make moves and are very strategic. And I knew that he keeps saying he's waiting to make big moves, he's waiting to make big moves, which I get it, but I just
Right.
wanted someone to be on board with me, because a lot of times,
Yeah,
like
I get it. I get it.
week one, I was trying to flip the votes to get Emmett out, which would have benefited the people that I was trying to flip, and we needed one more vote, and people weren't ready to make those moves yet.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that a little bit more in detail because I can tell you there's no way AJ was going to turn on the guys. He was like the perfect pawn for them because his game plan has whenever we've watched the show together, he's like, if I'm ever going to play, I'm just going to align with the strong guys all the way to the end. So like that part, you were basically beating a dead horse. He was not going to turn on the guys. But in that sense, you raise a bigger question, and this is something actually that I just was debating Liza with. Like there's this horrible misconception that floaters are bad players, and I feel like you have that opinion, and for a long time I had that opinion as well. And then I started to go back, and I watched a little bit more of Erica Landon's game, and I watched a little bit more of Adam Pock's game. These are people that fans have like basically shit on, okay, saying these guys are horrible. Why are they on the show? They're floating. I want to see players that make moves, when really floaters are the ones that get to the end. So don't you think that our traditional definition of what a good Big Brother player is should change? Because floating is the way to get to the end.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely respect the element of floating, and I definitely think it takes you far in the game. Um, but when a floater is approached to make a move that benefits them, and they don't take it because they're trying to stick to this floating element of not causing any trouble, I think it hurts them. I think that, had AJ been more key to get Emmett out week one, and
Yeah.
flip the house, he would have been able to still float because the eyes would have been on the bigger targets that voted Emmett out.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
so
And
that's where.
well, it's just, yeah, no, I agree. No, I see what you're saying. I just think that floaters get a bad rap because your issue is not with floating. This is what people don't understand. The issue is not with floating. If you don't like floaters in the game, your problem is not with them. Your problem is with the game because the game makes it so that floaters get to the end.
Yeah, and I have no problem with floaters. I just have a problem with floaters that aren't ready to make a move when they need to make a move, if that makes sense.
And you think that it was the right time to? I guess you're right. I guess it was a good call to like try and get rid of Emmett. I thought it was a little bit early, but that was not taking into account the showmances that were already in play.
Yeah, and I knew about the Quattro Alliance from day three. I knew it. I saw them talking. I saw them talking at the hot tub. I overheard conversations. I knew it for a fact. And it was a flawless strategy. Four strong guys, three girls, seven people. There's 14 people in the house.
Totally.
That's majority vote. Um,
It. I mean, yeah, and I agree. Like, it was very obvious. It was very frustrating because Suzette said the same thing. Liza said the same thing that everybody kind of knew, but at that point, it was already done. You couldn't really do anything about it. So really, is the bigger problem, I guess, then is with the casting, right? Because if they put these four people, three people, whatever, seven, you're giving them half the vote already. That's why I go back to that first point we talked about just a little bit ago. I'd rather see 15 ugly people that are there to play.
yeah, but I know that people are ragging on the showmances as a viewer, and like I said, I completely understand. But being in the game, I liked it. I thought that it took the target off of the people that were single, but obviously a lot of the single people are out, and the showmances are still in. So actually, Liza and Tom
No,
were
and
out
I
in one
and I
day,
get
so
that, but
I
yeah,
guess
but
it's catch 22.
yeah, no, I get it. I get that like it takes the attention away from you, but by that point, by the time that sort of you're ready to make your move, you can't because you don't have the numbers to combat these like pairs.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest thing would have been getting Emmett out. If that didn't happen week one, week two, I was really, really trying to get into Jillian's ear to put Alec up. And had she done that instead of putting me or Danielle up, it would be a completely different game, and it would have benefited her 100%.
I can't stand Alec. Okay, at this point, he's the only one that I don't want to win. I think that he's smarmy. I think that he's a pretender. I think that he's basically sat down just like I have. But see, the difference between him and I is that I don't mind admitting that I've sat here watched every episode of Big Brother like 6 times. Okay, I will say that to Sunday. The problem with Alec is he does the same thing and he pretends not to. He's like quoting Chilltown. He's trying to do these like horrible diary rooms with Peter because he thinks he's like Frank. I don't understand A, why he thinks he's a good player, B, why he can't be himself, and C, why is he trying to play this like character that's making him come off as the biggest douchebag in reality TV? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. When I go back and watch the shows and I see Alec as this reality TV character, I don't like it. But Alec as a person, of course, I like. And I can't say he's a bad game player because he's still in there. But I think that I get what you're saying. Watching him as a reality TV contestant and his
Man,
DR sessions and the way he competes,
horrible.
um, and
Horrible DRs.
and
Horrible DRs. Horrible.
yeah.
Worst I've ever seen.
And I try to I think that the problem with Peter and Alec is like I love them as friends, but I don't respect them as game players watching them on TV because I feel like it's a mockery. I feel like they're trying to be something that they're not. I think that they
Exactly.
watch so much TV that they're
Ex-
really trying to do it. And then, you know, it comes down to being an innovative game player. When has somebody
completely.
sprayed glitter around? When has a girl ever had, you know, two guys wrapped around her finger like Liza? I respect original gameplay as opposed to the mockery, but they're still in the house, so I can't beat them up too much.
I couldn't have phrased it any better. That's exactly what my issue is that like they're trying to be, they're trying to take pages like Liza told me, oh, Peter came out to me and he wanted to do this whole like Danielle Reyes like Jason Guy game from season 3, and I'm like, and you're claiming that he's like a super genius. I'm like, he's just trying to like, why can't he just do Peter and Liza's game? Why is he quoting these like, like I don't know. Anyway, that's
You're
that's another story
frozen.
for another day. Here's my question to you. Oh wait, okay, I'll wait until I'm back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Am
Murtz,
I
can you
back?
hear me?
Waiting. I can hear you
Oh,
perfectly. Yes, I can hear you.
okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay,
You're
it'll
good.
come. It's the Wi-Fi thing. Perfect. Okay. Why would they name their alliance after a WWE stable if they're supposed to be such original characters?
Yeah, I mean that's my problem, and I think that you know, Alec and Peter, it's just a mockery almost. It's almost like you're watching a Big Brother spoof when I see them in the diary room. Um, but like I said, they're still in the house, so they're doing something right. But like I said, I think that I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but if you look at Liza's gameplay, that's more respectable to me than a mockery.
Let's take some questions. First one comes from Megan Lane. Aneal, after watching the last few episodes, would you still score Jillian so low in position?
If you read my new recap, she's actually third right now because I don't know if you watch the live feeds, but her and Tal are in the works to kind of, if one of them win HOH, they're going to go after the Shield. And my guess is that the next
Oh,
competition, my guess is the next one's going to be in endurance. And if it's endurance, Jillian and Tala will be there till the end, fighting tooth and nail. So I think that she's gone up, and Jillian was, besides Liza, my favorite person in the house. So on a personal connection, I would love to see her go, you know, very far in this game.
I just want a Shield member gone. So that's like a dream scenario for me. Let's see. I'm very anti the Shield right now, also because they voted against AJ. Okay, Jordan. Aneal, do you know how many of the other contestants applied for the show and how many were recruits? I don't know that
Everybody,
answer. I don't know.
everyone applied. Everyone went to an open casting. I think the only person that didn't go to opening casting and just submitted a video is Topaz. So everybody is a fan and applied and wanted to be there, which was very. I was so happy to hear that.
From Obsessed with BB, who did you enjoy spending time with the most in the house?
I loved our my talks with Liza, but didn't want to talk a lot because we, you know, we're trying to do the Secret Alliance thing. But Jillian for sure. Me and Jillian had a lot of good laughs and a lot of good times, and even Gary, surprisingly, that when we weren't talking game and we were just talking about life, I had a great conversation with him too. Andrew
What was
too.
the what was the issue with you? Oh, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I liked everyone, but I would say Jillian followed by, you know, Andrew and Gary.
What was the issue with you and Gary? Was it just like you wanted to be the only gay in the house? Like, is that what it was?
No, and that's what people think, but I think that we honestly were intimidated by each other as game players because I knew that there was more to Gary than glitter, and he knew there was more to me than this. I was playing the young, naive high school kid. So we were honestly threatened by each other. But week three, when we went on the block, we were ready to work together. We were going to do this whole frenemies thing and, really make some big moves, but got power shifted.
Um, from Rhonda Wyatt. Topaz didn't have to voice her opinions out loud. Well, I've already told you what my theory is. They had to make her talk, because otherwise those people would have been sitting there watching like the artist's silent movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that I think that I would have done that even if they told me or not to, because I like to talk things out and hear my voice. So maybe she just did it because it was easier for her to hear her thoughts out loud.
From Beth Thompson. Do you think Andrew was a floater until this last week?
No, I don't think I don't like the word like I said, I don't really like the word floater. I think Andrew is just a timid lion and now he's ready to attack. Me and Andrew had some good game talks in the sense that he wasn't gonna let these young, guys and these showmans, he's like, I'm gonna let them run the show a little bit and then when the time for me to step up, I'm gonna step up. And he's the only person in the house that has two HOHs under his belt. So I would love to see, Andrew and Jillian in the final two. I think he's playing a good game.
Now this is a good little revelation for you, Aneal. The one thing that I kept reiterating to AJ over and over every time we would watch any show, I would say, "Listen, reality show tip number one: you always align with the game's oldest player because they never turn. If you go back on any show, you remember Jack on Big Brother 4, he'd never turn.
Yeah.
Rudy on Survivor 1 would never turn. So I genuinely believe that, like, you can say that their relationship was real, that they were like the two oldest guys in the house, but I'm telling you, I wanted to run that theory by you. What do you think about aligning with the oldest player simply because they are so loyal?
No, I would definitely agree with that. And I think that AJ and Andrew were kind of forced to be together in the sense that it was kind of a cool kids club. If you didn't have a girl or a guy on your arm, you're kind of an outcast. And they were older, so I think that they just naturally band together. But some of my favorite laughs and my best conversations were with AJ and Andrew. So, I think that had that power shift not happened and I wasn't up against AJ, I think that Andrew would not have voted me out had I been up against anyone else.
I
So I do agree
I
with
don't think
that.
so either. Yeah, I no, I think that that's actually not even a question. I think that that's actually because Andrew. I genuinely don't feel like Andrew likes this whole like Quattro like Shield thing. I feel like he's just being forced because there's no other way to play right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. He hates it. He absolutely hates it. He hates the showmances. That's why I really like Andrew.
Um, a question right here for me actually. Murtz, did you go to the casting call with AJ, and when did you find out that he got in, and how did you react? Well, I did go to the open call with AJ. I was there actually. We were still in the building when AJ got his call back. Like that's how well it went. I'll actually. I mean, no, that's AJ's story to tell. I was going to tell you the whole story about like what AJ did to get on. It's actually a really great story. But I knew Robin Cass from many years ago, and AJ kept saying to me, "Do you think that I should like tell her that I know you?" And I'm like, "Listen, bro. I'm like, I think it'll be bad. You want to get in there on your own.
Exactly.
And I think that that's and I think it's better for him that he did that. Because that means he got in on his own merit, on his own interview. We weren't even in the same like open call group. So
Yeah, and how
let's
funny is
see.
he on the show? So he definitely got on there, because he's a character.
Yeah,
And
I
he
mean,
has
yeah,
a
he's definitely. I'm. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that I and definitely my opinion changed. Like, I think when he was going in, I thought he was going in like the Peter. Like, I was expecting him to be the manipulator and stuff. And I think what I learned over the course of the show is that he got in based on his, you know, eccentricities rather than his strategy.
yeah, I agree.
Wait, are you still there, or am I frozen?
No, you're good.
Oh wait, am I back? I think I'm
Yep.
back. If not, let's just take this question. Okay, cool. What does Aneal feel like the feed's being cut due to Tala being so intoxicated?
I mean, we never know the reason why the fees are cut off, so I mean, that would just be a guess, but I mean, everyone in there is adults, so I think that if she was extremely intoxicated, whether the production thought that it should have been shown or not, that's their call. But I just hope Tal's okay, and I hope she's resting and staying hydrated.
Let's see. Do you think anyone is going after the shield?
Yes, I think that Tala, whoever stays between Gary and Chopez and Jillian, will attack the shield or at least one member of it.
Let's see. From Johnny Joe. Man, you're getting a lot of questions here. This is like the most I've seen in a while. Aneal, why do you think Suzette put up Cat week one? Wouldn't it have made more sense to put up another guy since she put up two strong guys? Cat would have won the HOH tree endurance, and the game would have been so different. Fantastic question.
Oh, you just took the words out of my mouth. Once Suzette put Cat up, you can they show it a little bit on the second episode, I believe, but I'm telling Suzette, like, that was the stupidest thing you could have done. And she has an epiphany, and that's when we were trying to spin the house to get Emma out. But I think that Suzette's gameplay was she wanted all these strong guys to kind of be in a secret alliance with her and have them protect her. And since she just burnt bridges with two of the other athletic guys, she didn't want to potentially burn another bridge with somebody else. And putting Kat up was more of a personal thing because Kat really got along with the guys. So I think that it was a personal threat for her to get Kat out, and I think that she didn't want to burn a bridge with another alpha male in the house.
From Megan Lane. Do you think Alec and Peter want to be the new Boogie and Will?
I think Alec and Peter want to leave their stamp and mark however they can, so they're doing that by trying to be um, Boogie and Will, and I think that that's what broke up the Quattro as well, is that they really wanted the hype of being this dynamic duo, because their alliance would have been a lot stronger even if they just pulled me in. Well, I guess now they have Emmett in, and Emmett's doing well, but yeah, I definitely think that they're trying to be Mike and Biggie.
Now, a question from me. Do you think that anyone will know who Alec and Peter are in May 2014?
I think that they have a lot of girl crushes, so the girls might remember them. But I think the strategies in the game, I think the more memorable people will be like Emmett and Gary, and even Suzette. I think that Alec and Peter have their fans that are going to love them and remember them, but not by the mass majority, I don't think.
Why are there so many like reality show addicts here? You know, like AJ's connected to me. You were on So You Think You Can Dance. Peter was on Drafted. Like, is everybody here just wants to get on reality? Is that what this is?
I didn't hear the end of the question, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was just saying, you know, like there's so many connections to reality. You were tried for So You Think You Can Dance Canada. Peter was undrafted. Is everybody on Big Brother Canada just addicted to reality TV?
It's funny, I got one of that question in the press, and
You hear
no,
it?
actually, I have a passion for dance and I have a passion for Big Brother, and I had the opportunity to kind of do both. I would never go on, like, I don't know, a Real World or a Top Chef. So I think that Peter definitely has a passion for Big Brother, and he has a passion for his sports. So
Um, why would you go on Real World? That's like my favorite show, and I think that that's like the one that's like the most authentic.
yeah, I do. I think it is. I know some people in Florida that were on it, and it's just not for me. I
Who?
think that
Who?
I'm not gonna say because there's a lot of production stories that can get opened up, but we'll talk later. But I
Okay,
think
I
that
just want to see if we know because I know everybody from that show, so I just want to see if we know the same people.
But I think that
Okay.
a lot of it is it's just not for me. I think that my roommate would love to do it, and I think she'd be awesome on it, but I couldn't do it.
From Rhonda Wyatt, what are your feelings on Emmett's gameplay?
Um, he doesn't know it, but he is playing a brilliant game. Week two, it wasn't Jillian's HOH, it was Emmett's HOH. At the end of Tom's HOH, it wasn't Tom's HOH, it was Emmett's HOH. Getting me up and out was beneficial to Emmett 100%, not for Tom. So I don't think that Emmett knows that he's this brilliant strategist and he's a brilliant person that can persuade people. And that's what makes me respect Emmett more as a game player as opposed to Peter and Alec, who are overtly trying so hard, whereas Emmett's just
Exactly.
naturally really good at it. And that's, it's almost hard for me to say in the sense that he is the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you guys right now, but I
I love it.
respect
No, I
Emmett's
think
gameplay
yeah.
a lot.
I think that's brilliant phrasing too. I think that that's completely on point. Like he is coming off more authentic because he's not trying so hard. I think that's completely relevant.
Yep. And I think that's it's more respectable. If Peter and Emmett were sitting in the final two and I was in jury, I would vote for Emmett.
Well, Liza doesn't seem to share this opinion because Liza keeps saying, "Oh, Emmett's the reason that I'm gone, and Emmett's the reason that Aneal is gone and stuff." And I said, "Well, you keep saying this to me. Doesn't that mean that he's playing the best game?" And she's like, "No, no, no, it doesn't."
Yeah, I mean, I definitely he is the reason why me, Liza, and even Tom to an extent, because he gave permission. Like, I'm not gonna come after you if you get rid of my buddy. Um, so I think that as hard as it is to say, he's playing a good game.
Do you think who do you think is gonna win? Are you just gonna like jump on the Peter bandwagon?
Nope, absolutely not. I don't think Peter's gonna win. I think that
Wow.
it's Big Brother Canada. I think that things are gonna be shaken up. We've seen two really big twists. There might even be a power shift this week. Gary stays and Gary wins. I think that it is anybody's game right now. Literally, I can see anyone winning.
I'm leaning a little bit more now that I see the way the edit is going. Now that I see that he's the one that got the pinata, veto thing. Like, I'm just the writing on the wall is really saying Gary to me. I just can't shake that feeling.
I would love if Gary won. I think that he has had a huge target on himself from week one. So if he manages to make it to the end, he deserves that 100 grand in that car. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'd much rather see him win than the Shield. So yes, I could co-sign that as well. From Cherry Garcia, whose show I did earlier with Liza. Murtz, if you could take control of Big Brother US and make one big change in the game, what would it be and why? Aneal, I'll run this by you because I was talking to Liza about it. But I think it's only one change I would make, which is if you want to eliminate the floaters, and we touched on this earlier, I feel like there has to be more of an incentive to win competitions, whether it's cash, whether it's power, whether it's something, because I feel like that's the only way you're going to get somebody like Peter not to throw competitions. So I would just say more incentive to win. I don't know. I don't know what you would change if you were a producer.
I think that they might do this season, but I'd love to see an authentic 14 strangers playing Big Brother US again. I love the returning players and it's addicting to watch, but I would love to see just a diverse cast just really go at it. And just some unique twists. I don't know what they would be, but hopefully no power shifts, but we'll see what happens.
Do you know where the rap party is going to be? I've had BB Fan Forever has asked like 5 questions about the rap party, so I got to put this one through.
I have no idea. I don't even know if I'm invited. So if I do find out, I will let you know, but I have no idea.
Let's see. Aneal, do you think that Jillian and Emmett will stay together after the season?
Based on my knowledge, when I left the house, they were gonna give it 2 weeks after getting out of the house, after finale, go back to their lives, and see where they stand. And I think out of all the showmances, Jillian and Emmett's connection was the most authentic. So I would definitely love to go to a wedding in Nova Scotia in 2 years.
I love this question because this was probably one of my favorite scenes on the whole show. What is when is when Suzette was having her breakdown, and you go to console her, and then she gets right. That is like it's just so hilarious. I could rewatch it over and over and over again. I can't
Um,
remember. Do you remember exactly what was said? Because I remember. I'm. It's just like the funniest scene.
Something like, you know what, Anil, you've been effing backstabbing lying to me all week. And in my head, I'm just like, I was on the block. I was in no position to backstab you, and you just voted to evict me. Like, it just made no sense whatsoever. Um, my theories on Suzette, I'm sure she's a great mom and a great person and a great friend, but as somebody that played the game with her, I don't respect it. She said she didn't want to be there half the time. She said some very inappropriate things. She made some lowball attacks on people. And I get that the house is a pressure cooker, but if the other 14 people can keep their emotions on wrap, I think that she could have done it. And it makes me really mad. Like I was even reading one of her press interviews today. She said that she was so happy for to leave the house and that she was just in it all the time. She kept on talking about like we're gonna have so many Twitter followers, we're gonna be famous. So I just, as somebody who respects the gameplay and respects the the intricacy of Big Brother, having somebody like her get saved by Canada and just make it so much further. Yeah, I might be bitter, but it's just hard for me to respect her as a game player and a house guest.
Um, would you rather have left when you did, or would you have rather made the jury and been like AJ, first jury member?
I think that had I stayed in the house, I wouldn't have been the first jury member, if that makes sense. I think that I honestly I keep saying this, but I think that had I stayed in the house, people's targets were getting bigger. And I was ready to go after the shield, was ready to, put Alec and Peter up. So I think that the game would have been a lot different had I stayed, and I would not have been the first jury member. But that's just me being super confident in myself.
Yeah. What's both of your thoughts on Gary crying over Saw? Probably one of the best scenes in Big Brother history.
Yes. But I said the same thing about Alex crying thing. I think that when people cry and break down in the house, it's not necessarily just because of that one thing. So yes, I do think he was upset about being onslaught, but I think that it's just the buildup of just the game being so intense, being cut from your family. So it's just Alec and Gary, I think, were both holding in that for so long, and this one thing just was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So as funny as it was, I genuinely did feel bad for him because I know what it's like, just to lose your mind in there. So
Right.
I feel bad.
From Avon Clark. Murtz and Aneal, how would you both feel if HOHs can't be voted out the next week as a twist? Wow, I like that.
Um, that would be cool. That would be interesting. It would definitely give more incentive for people to win HOH because it buys you 2 weeks, 1 week in power and 1 week of safety. So that would be very interesting to watch.
Let's see. I think we'll take a couple more and then we'll start wrapping things. I can't believe how many questions there are here. I'm really like getting to choose. Do you think that there are any genuine connections in the house, whether it is friendship wise or romantic?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that Jillian and Emmett definitely have a romantic connection. I think that Peter and Alec have a genuine friendship connection in the sense that they wanna, move in together. I think that Gary, Suzette, and Danielle had a genuine friendship. Me and Liza, and then me and Jillian had a genuine friendship connection. So I think that, people watch it and view the game, but at the end of the day, we have to live with these people. So I definitely saw myself coming out with more friends, and I think that Jillian and Emmett are really into each other.
Do you think, I like this from Beth again, do you think Alec and Peter will eliminate each other out? I can see Peter doing it. Alec definitely won't.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that if it did happen, it would have to be in the final three, and that third person would have to be somebody that they both knew that they could be 100%.
And who would that be out of the people remaining?
No one. I don't. I think, like I said, I think that it's everybody's game. Everybody. I mean, I could see it being Jillian for the simple fact that they can argue that Jillian played Emmett's game, but I think
Yeah.
that Jillian winning HOH so early and realizing that her HOH was completely manipulated by the house, that she's ready to, play a game when she gets some power.
This is for both Murtz and Anil. When Arissa told AJ that the game was about to get deadly, your thoughts on what this could mean? Anil, I mean, just the twist, I would think.
Yeah, I think the house is getting boring. I think I'm not this is not just because I'm out. I think that, when Tom and Liza went and everyone was on board with Suzette going, it was just very boring to watch because you knew Suzette was gonna go. Um, so I think that what she meant is that this is like shaking up the house. So we're finally gonna see some action, and I loved it.
Mhm. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think I go back to the same point that we talked about right at the beginning. I just feel like the steam has been let out. I feel like the buzz, and it's a combination of things. I think it's the fact that the live feeds went down, a lot of the big gamers are kind of gone, like I just feel like we're sort of in that lull period where, even the US version gets this sometimes too, where you sort of know what's going to happen for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So really, I I mean, I don't see any scenario where, well, I mean, maybe Gary wins, but it's very hard for me to picture any scenario that doesn't have the Quattro or the trio and Jillian there, unless it's an
I
endurance that Tala wins.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an endurance until Jillian wins. I think that Jillian is going to be, do I make a move and get Alec out because I know that she was thinking about it, or Peter out. That would be interesting to watch actually to see Jillian win and see her torn and actually see her make a game move. And I think people will respect her more as a game player. Um, but I still think, Andrew, Jillian, Tala, I think there might be a power shift to save Gary this week. I think the four of them can really do some damage and flip this house.
And by that token, though, like I know you referred to Jillian and Tala talking about getting, like Alec and Peter and them out. You don't think that just Emmett's going to get in their ear and like switch their minds once again, like he's done so
Uh,
effortlessly in like past weeks?
I think that for Tala, absolutely not. For Jillian, I think that there's definitely a huge possibility. So that's what's going to be interesting to watch. Is she
Mm-hmm.
going to stick to her gut or do what she did week two, where he essentially got her to put her best friend in the house up?
From Timster, what are your thoughts on Arissa as the host? I personally think she's getting too much hate. I think she's significantly better than Julie. So worlds better
Oh
than
my
Julie, but I
God.
don't know what you think, Anil.
I love Arissa. I think that um her energy and her presence, like, I just got blindsided 10 minutes, I was safe, and then I was out the door. But just this energy she exuded in my exit interview was just refreshing, and I think she's doing an awesome job.
I just like the fact that she doesn't really flub lines. Like Julie. How much does she have to say? But next, previously, and like she still manages to mess that up. Like I don't understand this like love for Julie because she flubs like every episode. Like, am I the only one seeing that?
I mean, I love Julie Chen too, don't get me wrong. I have like my boyfriend painted a huge portrait of Julie Chen for me to put above my TV. But I do love that they're so opposites, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they definitely cast the host really well.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm just trying to find the final like audience question, so it's going to be a good one. Um, okay, from Johnny Jolt again. I like these Johnny Jolt questions. What do you think? Who do you think Tala would have put up if she won the Twist HOH instead of Topaz? She says she would make a big move, but would she?
She would have put up probably Emmett and Alec. I think she's not an Emmett fan, and she knows that if she put up Alec, it kind of, me and her have had conversations of, if we put up Alec and get Alec out, it kind of weakens
Opens
Peter
the
and
game.
weakens
Yeah,
Topaz, to where you have these two little people that are just looking for something new to cling on to. So
totally,
she knows that.
totally.
She knows that. And I think that if Tala had won, we would have been having Emmett or Alex the first jury member for sure.
Yes, and AJ would still be in the house.
Yes, and AJ still would be in the house. I really thought AJ was going to be final three for sure.
I did too. I didn't see that coming at all. So Aneal, what's next for you?
I'm going back to Florida on Thursday. I'm just gonna get back into the swing of things, go back to school. I'm really big into student government. I'm in a fraternity. I'm very active on campus. So I'm very excited to just get back into my real life and just put this in the past in a good way, in a positive light.
And the finale is coming up right around the corner. I feel like this season went like way faster than the US one, right? Like I can't believe we're already into like the second jury member.
Yeah, I think that it's because when the U.S. is in the summer, so you have a lot more downtime. I think that
Yeah.
since this was I actually like that it was this time because it's fast paced. You're going through your day and you come down and watch an episode of Big Brother. It's a good way to end your day.
No, totally, totally. And I mean it's reminiscent though of like I think Big Brother 9, right, during the writer's strike.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, with that, Aneal, I am going to let you go.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much
having me
for
on.
yes. This was unlike my usual Murtz shows. You know, this was like a very like serious like reality TV discussion. You know, not a lot of like zaniness like it was with Tom and Liza.
Uh,
Um, all right, well, Aneal, I'm sure I will be talking to you soon, and I'm dying to know who these real worlders are that you know.
yes, keep in touch. I will talk to you, and thank you to everyone who submitted questions.
Perfect, Aneal. Thank you so much. This is the Murtz Show signing off.